It's remarkable to look back and think that in 2008, Twitter was barely a presence on the election stage. Facebook, although large, was barely a presence as well. In 2012, it is a formidable presence, both for the media as well as for the campaigns. As a reporter for the New York Times, I've been writing about how we've seen surges in activity around events like debates on Facebook and on Twitter. And I suspect that some of the viewers that tune in for these debates are actually doing that because they see their friends are talking about the events on Facebook and Twitter. I don't think it's a coincidence that the ratings have been significantly up for the debates this year. People are increasingly engaging online, rallying around the same events and watching them in real time. For the politicians that are out there campaigning in real life, they're also using the virtual space to do that. And you can see sometimes, whether it's a campaign rally or a big debate, you can see campaign staffers trying to promote certain hashtags, trying to promote certain concepts online. The notion that we can see these memes pop up is something that isn't brand new, but is gaining steam, gaining force. I don't think Big Bird would have been talked about after the first debate nearly as much were it not for Twitter and Facebook and sites like it, where people could make fun of the whole concept of killing Big Bird. It's probably surprising for people who watch the O'Reilly Factor on Fox every night or watch the Rachel Maddow show on MSNBC every night that most Americans still get most of their news from local TV. It's the sort of unnoticed, great medium for reaching the public. Although increasingly the internet is playing a big role, and in a couple of years the internet will surpass local TV as the main way for people to get most of their news. There is this strata, this strand of high information people who are watching cable news and network news every night, and they make up this loud echo chamber that's always talking about politics and like it's a sport. I think those people are now really well served by CNN, Fox, and MSNBC because those channels always are doing that. They never turn off. The media is frequently criticized for covering style over substance, for covering the gaffes the candidates make.
During a news conference, the president said, quote,
"The private sector is doing fine."
The silly mistakes they make on the trail.
Mitt Romney stung the crowd at the Iowa State Fair when he said corporations are people. Mitt's changing his tune to avoid answering hard questions.
And not covering their views on issues. The public, and especially pundits, love to hammer the media on that perceived failing. Reality is the media does a great job of covering the issues and covering the substance, but sometimes they do it well before people are paying attention to the campaigns, and sometimes they do it in corners of the news world, so to speak, that aren't being noticed. This is something that I think the media industry has to work on. They have to be willing to repeat themselves more often. They have to be willing to say the same thing over and over again, because even though they've said it 100 times, viewers and readers haven't read it or heard it 100 times. This gap between what the media thinks the public's doing and what the public's actually doing. And we could do a better job of filling in that in-between space.